Hi dear ones, my name is Aria and welcome to Deepwater Yaya. If you're new to the channel, I post videos that offer support for diverse bodies in troubled times. We cover a lot of ground, so I really hope you find something that speaks to your heart. If you do like the content, please do all the YouTube things. Like and subscribe, share the content with a friend, and please also check out the links in the description. We have a Patreon membership that starts at only $1.50 Canadian a month, and there's some good things going on over there as well. By all means, please leave a comment. Let me know what you experience, especially on this video. I'm looking forward to hearing your impressions. Today, we are doing a choose your own reading to celebrate the pagan festival of Samhain. Some of you may know it as Halloween. October 31st, November 1st. It's kind of the Celtic New Year. It's a real transitional time between seasons when the energy is moving from productivity and harvesting and beginning to shift into preparing for the winter, which is a more contained, quiet time where the energy doesn't always flow so fully. So this is a liminal space. It's a transitional time. And I really wanted to do a reading to let you have an opportunity to tap into this energy and to wonder how you might connect with the ancestors and the spirit realm, because that is a big part of Samhain. The veils thin when we are transitioning through such liminal space, and we have the ability to connect and communicate a little more completely at a time like this. So these readings are going to look at the transition from productivity, creativity, stronger flow of energy, transitioning into more quiet, contained, lesser flow, maybe an ebb in the energy, and what's needed to prepare for that, as well as what you can do to open your heart more to the spirit realm and to your ancestors, whether they be in your own personal lineage or a political or cultural lineage that you would like to connect with. And I'm going to encourage you to stay within your own genetic lineage for that. Again, not necessarily your own family, but especially if you're of European descent, don't go poking around in other cultures. It's not good ethics. It's time to stop doing stuff like that. So, welcome to Samhain, and I hope you're having a beautiful season. And I would very much like to invite you into the reading. Before we start, we're going to take a couple of deep breaths and focus on gratitude in our heart. And then you're going to have a chance to look at the spreads, decide which one you are most drawn to. You can jump right ahead to that reading. And I encourage you to view the final chapter or the outro of this video, because I'm going to include a couple of little tips for connecting with your ancestors. And I would also just really love to hear what your experience was with the reading in the comments. Let me know which of the readings you chose and whether or not it resonated with you. All right? So let's all take just a nice, deep, easy breath in through our nose. And just let it flow. Let's do that one more time. Because it's always good to just take a moment. And now we're here together. So at this point, I'd like you to take a look at the spreads and ask yourself, which of these three are you drawn to? Are you drawn to the Carnelian, the Amethyst, or the Sardonyx? Which one? The Carnelian, the Amethyst, or the Sardonyx? All right? If you were drawn to the Carnelian reading, I want you to know that the transition you're going through right now is characterized by creative energy. This is a sacral chakra stone, so it's all about passion and fire and following your creative pursuits to increase well-being and a sense of self-knowing. Now, I want you to really think about this. Imagine the difference between a summer bonfire on the beach and a cozy fireplace fire that's contained and protected and can keep us warm on a cold night. That's the essence of the transition. So ask yourself, what do you need to do to start cooling down and focusing that more intense fire and bringing it into the containment and the protection of that fireplace energy? Now, the cards involved were very, very interesting, as they always are. I always say that. The first one was goose. This is actually a sign of productivity. So when I first saw it, I thought, well, that's a little odd. But then I realized, no, of course not. It's fall. The goose are all leaving. This is a symbol that your productivity was really juicy and it manifested well. And you may need to trust that now more than anything, because it actually affirms, think about those geese flying away for the fall. That productive energy has cooled, and it's following the warmth. It's moving away from you right now. And you need to look at tapping into a trust and a flow. And again, cooling it down. Think about the difference between fire and water, right? But salmon is really an energy of rejuvenation and open-heartedness and not pushing too hard. So again, your energy, that creative, productive energy, is cooling down. It's moving away. You're moving into a time of ebbing where you might feel the currents pushing against you. Do not fight. Just jump when you need to and enjoy the cool, quiet pools when they're there, and really open up your heart, because the Celtic Dragon tarot that was pulled for the Carnelian is the Page of Wands. Now, this also indicates rejuvenation, youth, open-heartedness. Both of these cards indicate innocence and really seeking what you are desiring by trusting and bringing a sense of joy and playfulness and innocence, and that trusting that comes from that. And this is the key for you to connect with your ancestors and the spirit guides. This card literally symbolizes that. The innocence and the open-heartedness of the page calls in the astral and spiritual guides with all of that sparkly, beautiful, magical energy. So this right here, that innocence, that beginner's mind, that being willing to not know and maybe feel like you're at the beginning again, it can be so hard to accept that, especially when our energy feels like it's ebbing, or we're going through a time that's more contained and protected and we feel limited. Trust it. Use that as a cozy sanctuary. Throw your heart open. Play and let the energy flow. If you are drawn to the Amethyst reading, the time of transition between productivity and a more quiet, contained energy is characterized by vision and the balance between community and self. So you really want to take a look at where you are plugging in, how you're moving from your vision, making sure you're in integrity with your own health and what you need for yourself, and really looking at which parts are working and which parts aren't. And not just for you, but for the whole. And I really can't think of a better card to have pulled to affirm that than Hawk. Hawk is an energy of higher perspective and deeper wisdom by soaring high and taking in the entire situation. Really, truly taking a look at the systems that are at work in your life and making sure you are moving from integrity, that you mean what you say what you mean, you're practicing good boundaries, and you have a real sense of yourself in the process, and you're not diffusing who you are for the sake of community, but that it's a mutual process of discovery and affirmation and really growing together. This is the key for you also to connect to your ancestors and to the spiritual realms. There's a real sense of connecting to your lineage, making sure you realize you're not alone. You are a part of a process and a product of energy that has flown. I was going to say flowed, but flown to you into this time, and it is moving you forward. Don't be afraid of this transition into a quieter time. We all need it. And really, truly, when you're looking at connecting with your ancestors or the spiritual side, you want to do that from a place of looking for honest, clear perspective and being able to put things into alignment and integrity. That is the core energy that you are moving into that realm with, and that is the kind of teaching and energy that you're looking to be met by. So keep open to that. And as part of that process, you want to think about frog. I love the way these cards were pulled. I mean, I always love it. I say this all the time. But with this card, it really does also affirm everything we've been talking about. Frog is a boundary, medicine, water, and land, but it also is boundary in the sense of its own physical being. It has very porous skin, so it brings a time of healing by way of thinking of sensitivities. And I want you, Amethyst, lovely, beautiful seeker, to take a look at your boundaries, at where you may have been taking on too much energy from others, and you need to cleanse, you need to release and heal. Both of these cards will talk about cleansing. The hawk will do it through honest, clear perception. Frog through healing. This really does feel to me like you need to look at asking yourself what you need. What do you need to practice strong, clear boundaries that keep you healthy enough to follow your vision and do the community work that you love to do and be able to serve on the level of the whole, the way you really feel called? King of Swords, which is an interesting card. It's often interpreted as quite negative, like a negative male presence. I do always wonder where the influence of toxic masculinity and toxic patriarchy are coming into play in your life when I pull this card. So do take a look at that. That may be some of the boundaries and the cleansing that you need to take a look at. But really, the King of Swords is about the right use of worldly power. This king has learned to take action in a way that moves, that creates change, and does so by really rooting into the deepest levels of self-knowing and honesty and power. So it's an edgy energy, and it does call for integrity and boundaries and honesty. And this is what's characterizing this transition. You need to be prepared to really evaluate your life. So put some things into perspective that will let you take a good inventory. And you'll be fine. You'll find your way. You may be feeling a little pulled right now with a lot of different things. All these elements of community, your different perspectives and your different boundaries. That sense of being pulled in different directions is natural and normal for you right now. And you're a little more sensitive to that in general, actually, but right now you may feel that heightened. The key is focus, seek honesty, seek clarity, seek intentions and alignment, integrity, and good boundaries. And you'll be good. If you were attracted to the Sardonyx reading, know that the transition between more productivity and the quiet, more reserved, contained time is characterized by balance and really a strong focus on your physical health and well-being, including your sleep. And I promise you I was going to say that before I picked the cards. Sardonyx is a stone that brings temperance and balance into the physical state, into our moods, into our ability to regulate. That includes sleep. Often it's seen as a sort of smoky, hazy, but but deep red color. This is a very, very dark version of Sardonyx, and I like it for this time of year because it reflects us back to ourselves and lets us see ourselves a little more clearly. And I feel like you need that. I feel like you need the reminder that it's okay to look at yourself and prioritize yourself. This is all about regulation and making sure we stay in a nice, healthy rhythm. Now, I did say, I promised you that I was going to talk about sleep because the Druidic Animal Oracle card that was pulled with Sardonyx is cow. And you're thinking, what does that have to do with sleep? Well, the cow in the Celtic tradition symbolizes the goddess and the real nourishment of the soul as well as the physical, all of life actually, but the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual, truly nourishing. And I promise you, I swear, there's a line in the book that talks about interpreting this card that describes that when you connect with this energy, you get better sleep. So really and truly, I want you to take a look at what you need to be nourished. I feel like you're probably more sensitive to the change in season specifically, the way the light changes, the way the temperature and the weather changes. You need to tap into nourishment. Look how furry this cow is. I love these hairy cows. Think about the coziness, the warmth. Think about the level of protection that comes from having the ability to go away if you need to protect yourself. This is an energy of kindness and generosity and nourishment, but really truly for you right now, you need to think about how to harness it and use it for your own nourishment. Your physical health really does need some TLC right now. I feel like it's gonna be okay, even if you're going through something that isn't temporary. If it is a chronic condition, know that your health and your habits, your regulation, your routines, your boundaries, all of the ways that you need to protect yourself, these are the things that are really calling for your attention. And there could not be a better card to pull to affirm that than the Seven of Pentacles. I love this card. Traditionally, the reading can be a little negative. I just did an Instagram reel about this. It can be stagnation, making sure you use your energy properly to stay out of anxiety. Don't worry about things. Don't get caught up into a flow that keeps you stuck. Not a bad reading for this time of year and this kind of transition, but I like my reading better. My reading is really looking at when you live in a body that's marginalized or you're doing community work, you're really coming up against the systems of oppression and suffering that this society functions up to our eyeballs in. You need to take time for yourself. This is rest. This is about reclaiming rest. And even if you're not living in a body that's marginalized, do it anyway. When you have a sign from cow to tap into the nourishment of the earth, the life force energy of the planet, and align yourself with it, this is what allows you to do that. This Seven of Pentacles is about boundaries. Take a look at the cave energy. This is about creating the hearth, the home for yourself so that you can curl up with all the little things that nurture you and you nourish them and you're cozy and you're calm. And look at the peace on that beautiful dragon's face. Reclaim the rest you need, and it's all about boundaries. The King of Wands. Now this energy, my dog is asking for my attention. This energy is really about, I'm going to pull that into the reading. Dog in the Celtic tradition is a guardian of the mysteries. So the dog was trying to get our attention as I pulled this card up for our attention. King of Wands, this is the energy you're looking for when you go looking for an ancestor or into the spiritual realms. So you're looking for, on a human level, if you're really looking at your own lineage, maybe a grandfather or father energy, a person in your lineage that could act as a mentor. And if you're looking at the spiritual realms, we're talking a fairy king or a keeper of wisdom and knowledge. The King of Wands has really mastered thought and calm, and it's very zen. It's very zen and very wise and able to tap into wisdom because there's not a lot of static and clutter. The fact that the dog was trying to get our attention indicates that this really is a gateway time of being able to tap into that mystery and that other sideness. I was thinking about imagery for this card, and I was thinking about Merlin and then Gandalf from the Lord of the Rings, and then I went to Dumbledore from Harry Potter, and I'm not the hugest Harry Potter fan, but I do like it. And then I realized, you know what? No, it's Snape from Harry Potter. If you're into the Harry Potter, it's Snape. And I really would like you to think about that in terms specifically of, here we go, the Sardonyx. The Sardonyx, because we've got this darker, more reflective energy. And again, the King of Wands is a master of thought and mental energy. Snape was like that. Snape could move into the darker places, the places that were broken and not working, the systems of oppression and harm, and break them, disrupt them from the inside by understanding how to work with his thoughts and bring healing and light into the dark places. And also by taking on those burdens for other people and being willing to be misunderstood. There's a lot of good medicine in that imagery. The dog's back. Thank you for making it this far in the video. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed your reading. Let me know in the comments what you experienced. I just would get such a kick out of hearing from you. I promised you a few tips for connecting with your ancestors and the spiritual side. There are some really simple things you can do to open your heart and your consciousness to that level of communication. It can literally be as simple as lighting a candle and speaking into it. The flame can act as a portal between you and your ancestors to increase the communication. You can write a note or draw a little picture or make a gift or a symbol of a gift from paper and burn it. Make sure it's safely, always safely. That energy will then, the smoke will then transition into the spiritual realm. You can play music, dance, sing for and with your ancestors and the spirits. And you can also leave out food or drink for, in a safe way, in a safe place for you to do that. And that's a way of giving and sacrificing to that realm. And that really is the key. At this time of year, we want to be asking ourselves, what do spirits and the spiritual realm and our ancestors need from us? What can we give to them? It's not just about being on the receiving end. We often focus on being on the receiving end of the spiritual realms, but give back. And that can be with your time, your attention, a gift. You know, at the same way we do with human relationships. Take a look at nurturing that connection in whatever way is most natural for you, and it can be simple and easy. And I promise that if you do these things, if you practice them, the relationship does develop. You just have to stay open and trust that they'll come to you in a way that you can understand. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to hear a clear, coherent message, but a symbol might show up for you. A song might play on the radio. You know, the radio. Do you have radios? I don't know. I'm 50. I still think radios. I hope you're having a beautiful Samhain season. I send blessings and love to you. Thank you for joining me today, dear ones.